Welcome to Box Recaps. Today I'm going to explain the movie Dr. Dolittle, released in the year 1998. The movie starts and we're taken to 1968, where we see a 5-year-old John Dolittle who displays an ability to hear what animals are saying, starting with his own dog. John asks his dog questions like, "Why do dogs sniff each other's butts?" And the dog's response is that it is their own way of shaking hands. John ends up doing the same thing when meeting his new principal, much to the shock of everyone out there. His behavior horrifies his father, Archer, who hires a local priest to perform an exorcism on John in order to remove the devil from him. However, when the priest comes over to perform it on the boy and swings from side to side, the dog sees this. He does not stand the boy being brutalized like that and goes on to attack the priest right away by biting his leg. Archer is sick of everything that has been going on and goes on to tell John that he's going to get rid of the dog. He does so, and John has tears in his eyes as he sees his dog going away. From that day on, John's behavior toward the animals changed drastically, and he never ever spoke to the animals again. He became like his father when it came to dealing with animals. John Dolittle grew up, and he is now a normal adult as time has gone by. 30 years have gone by, and in 1998, John is a doctor and a surgeon living in San Francisco, California. He is happily married to his wife Lisa and has 2 daughters, typical teenager Charisse and nerdy Maya, who has a pet guinea pig named Rodney, and what she believes is a swan egg, which she hopes will bond with her upon hatching. John has started ignoring the fact that animals also have feelings. John's behavior toward his daughters is pretty much the same as his father's behavior toward him when he was a kid. His daughter, named Maya, goes on to tell her father that she does not want to go to summer camp because she wants to see the birth of the baby. John, however, goes on to tell his daughter that he wants her to get some exposure. He wants her to meet new people, and the best way to meet these new people is to spend some time in the summer camp, where there's a great chance of meeting people of your own age. John has now become a successful doctor, and happens to have a famous clinic where he has 2 other doctors as his partners in this business. John is told that a large medical company owned by Mr. Calloway seeks to buy John's practice, a deal in which one of his colleagues, Dr. Mark Weller, is enthusiastic about, though their other colleague, Dr. Gene Rice, is skeptical about the deal due to the potential of downsizing patients and staff. The others, however, go on to ignore Gene, and Mark Weller tells the other 2 that they're going to have to meet the corporate team of the big company soon. Dr. Dolittle then goes on to tell them that he has plans with his family that weekend, but Mark Weller convinces him to change his plans, adding that this will be a very important meeting, so Dolittle has to be there at any cost. He then goes on to see a regular patient of his own. She's a middle-aged woman who cannot stop eating seafood and keeps having allergic reactions. John goes on home and goes on to tell his wife about the trip. He still tells them that they should not miss the trip, as he tells them to hit the road on Friday, promising them that he will join them Saturday afternoon after the meeting is done. Just as they're about to leave, his daughter, named Maya, comes running to him and goes on to tell him that her pet guinea pig named Rodney has escaped the cage. John goes on to tell his daughter to leave with her mother right away, and promises her that he will find the guinea pig and bring the creature with him when he joins them. When the family leaves, John Dolittle goes on to set multiple mouse traps to draw out and capture the little creature. It, however, does not work, and when he's sleeping in his bed at night, the guinea pig climbs up the bed, he gets on his chest, and this is when John wakes up screaming at the sight of the guinea pig on his chest. When he comes back to his senses, he goes on to capture the creature and locks it up in the cage. When he tries to go back to sleep, his phone rings and he has to go to his clinic as there's an emergency case. When he gets there, he sees that it is again Mrs. Parkus, the same middle-aged woman who cannot stop eating seafood despite being allergic to it. Dr. Dolittle goes on to ask the assistant why on earth did he call him in the middle of the night, and the assistant tells John that the woman refused to see any other doctor except him. John is, however, pissed, and goes on to give the boy a piece of his mind, telling him never to wake him up again in the middle of the night. Later on, when he is on his way back, he ends up getting into a little accident while trying to save a dog that is right in the middle of the road. John is able to hit the brakes just in time, but the dog still ends up getting hit. When John looks at the dog before leaving, The dog is seen directing John to be more attentive while he's on the road. John is really confused at this, but makes his way home. That day he goes to see Dr. Calloway, the man from the big company. They go on to offer him $4 million for his company, and John is impressed by their offer. However, Gene is not so impressed, as he still has some doubts in his mind. Gene goes on to ask if they're going to lay off any team members, and Calloway makes it clear to him that some employees are going to be required to lay off. Before John is able to hear any answer from the man, he starts hearing things. When he looks around, he realizes that he's able to hear the animals around him talk. John is really shocked at this. He tells the men that he's going to go now and gets out of there, ending the meeting right away. He makes his way home, takes the little pet Rodney, and hits the road again to meet his family in the country house, who are waiting for him there. He has put Rodney in the driving seat, and as he moves a little further, he realizes that the little creature has started talking to him. The man is startled again, and he has to park his car because he does not want to cause another accident. He starts driving again, but puts the animal on the roof and tells it to shut up too. When he gets there, he realizes that his dad is also there. That night, when he's ready to get into bed with his wife, the man goes on to hear a strange voice. He's surprised to see that it is an owl. When he goes out, the owl comes flying to him and tells him to take out a stick that has been stuck in his wing. His wife comes to him and he tells her to get in bed. As he looks on, all the animals in the forest start gathering around the house he is staying in and start asking him for favors. This freaks him out, and the owl tells him that he's become famous in the forest because all the animals now know that there's a human who can talk to them. John gets into his car, and his wife tries to ask him what is going on. He, however, says that he needs to get to the city right away. He has some scans done on himself after getting to the hospital, and the other doctor tells him that everything is all right, all seems normal. The next day, he sees the same dog that he ran over 2 nights ago and feels guilty. He ends up adopting that dog, and Maya is over the moon. He gets in his car and takes the dog to the house in the country. Lisa and Maya are very excited to meet the dog, and John goes on to name him Lucky. Maya is, however, a little sad because she has to stay at the camp for the summer. That night, he's tired, and his wife is massaging him. He's just about to have a great night with his wife when there's a knock on the door. When he opens the door, there are 3 sheep on the other side, and he right away closes the door. However, his house is already infested with so many animals, and he is sick of it. He has no idea how to get rid of all these animals. He's about to make a goat go away when his daughter is seen going to the bathroom. He tells her that Lucky has just used the bathroom, so he should check if it's okay for his daughter to use it. As Doolittle tries to get the goat out, it backfires, as we see 3 sheep, a pig, 2 dogs, and multiple kinds of birds entering the house. He finally decides that he's going to help all these animals. He listens to their problems one by one. He does a couples therapy for a pair of pigeons, tells a monkey to stop drinking, and helps a dog with his obsession with balls. He's then approached by a police horse who's barely able to see, so John goes on to give him a pair of glasses. The monkey shows up again and goes on to tell John that he has let a circus tiger out of its cage. Despite being scared, John still decides to talk to the tiger. John learns that the tiger is depressed and wants to jump off a high tower to end his life, but he goes to the tiger and tells him that he will help him. He just needs to study a little on how he should help him. He goes to his clinic and tries to do some studying on the feline anatomy. Mark comes to him and asks him what has been going on with him. Doolittle tells him that he's actually been having a good time because after many years, he feels connected to his patients. And Mark tells him that he does not care about the connection with the patients. The only thing he cares about is the money he wants to get after selling off the company. John takes help from another doctor named Fish. He goes to the tiger at the circus and tells him that he has not yet figured out the problem, but promises him that he will be back to help him. The next day, he finds a rat that is hurt and brings it to his clinic. He even goes on to perform surgery on him, and Lisa gets there. She sees her husband talking to the animals and thinks he has gone mad. All other doctors are also weirded out as they see John performing CPR on a rat. His wife is worried about him and ends up putting him in a psychiatric hospital for treatment. The doctor at the mental hospital is one of his college colleagues, and he happens to hate John. He also has a pet cat that hates the mental doctor, but John ends up befriending that cat too. The doctor tells John that if he can actually talk to animals, he's going to have to prove it to them. He says that they use machines to stimulate a monkey's feelings. If John can actually talk to animals, he should be able to do it without the machine. He should just be able to talk to the monkey and stimulate his emotions. John tries to talk to the monkey, but there's no response. The doctors at the mental facility go on to say that John must have gone crazy. They order John to be taken to his room, and when he's just about to get out of the room, John goes on to tell them that in order to be able to communicate with this monkey, they need someone who can speak Spanish. The others, of course, do not believe him and take him away. John decides that he needs to get out of this place, so he calls his wife, but the guinea pig picks up the phone. The two get into an argument, and this argument is heard by another doctor at the mental facility, which makes things worse for John, as they're now sure that John has gone crazy. John then gets back to him after threatening the doctor at the mental facility that if they don't let him go home, he will tell everyone that his doctor has a ballerina costume in his closet. Believing his gift is a hindrance, John rejects all abnormality in his life and returns to work, but in doing so ostracizes Maya as well, who comes to believe he dislikes her. Maya admits to Archer that she liked the idea of her father talking to animals, and John has a change of heart when he eavesdrops on the conversation. He admits to Maya that he does not like, but loves her for who she is, and encourages her to continue being what she wants to be. John then apologizes to Lucky, and together they sneak Jake out of the circus and take him to the hospital to perform surgery on him. On the same night, a party is going on where Calloway will buy the company. Mark and Jean catch John, but Jean is tired of Mark's greedy attitudes and chooses to assist John. Soon, Jake is exposed in front of everyone at the party, and they all watch as John and Jean operate on Jake in the operating theater. Archer reveals to Lisa that John's gift is real, encouraging her to venture into the theater and keep Jake calm, while John and Jean discover Jake is suffering from a blood clot and successfully remove it, saving Jake's life. John then declines Calloway's offer to buy the place and officially accepts his gift of talking to animals. John becomes both a doctor and a veterinarian afterwards, embracing his ability to talk to animals. Maya's egg hatches into a baby alligator, and the final scene shows John and Lucky walking on the street together, with John talking about how he's going to treat animals and people. And with that, the movie comes to an end. Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on the notification and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.